Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the April Discmemberment, where we run down all the hot horror Blu-ray releases for the month of April. I am your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And we have to apologize of all the time when we're all quarantined, the time when we needed this Dismembered to come out on time, and we botched it. So it's coming out a little bit late, but it's okay, because I don't know about you, Tim, but anything I've ordered, like from Amazon in terms of stuff like that, I've made sure I've selected. If you could select the shipping, I normally do, the free Prime second day air, but there's an option now where you can ship it. You just say, whatever standard slow service, so they can make sure that Amazon can process all the essentials that people need. So I've been picking that lately for everything. And it's funny, I like my Wonder Woman game. It still ended up coming 4 days earlier than it originally said it was going to. But and they also give you a $3 digital credit on for stuff with, like, I guess if you want to get any audio books for your Kindle or any digital movies, they give you credit for actually picking that option. So it's good because you help out, and Amazon helps you back by giving you some digital credit.
Yeah, and I've noticed that that too with a couple things I've ordered was I got them earlier than the ship date said they would be here. So I think they're still. I think that's a generous estimate on the longer ship dates.
Right.
So and then of course we aren't getting this out too late because the official first week of April releases is on the 7th. So
that's true.
So you're hearing
that
this before the street date, so that's good.
Oh, you're right. So technically, I don't think we really got this out late. I think now that I think back of it, I think maybe that's why I did have it on the calendar a week later, because I think technically 31st was March, was when the releases were this week. So I think we're okay, actually.
Yeah, we had a weird 5 week or 5 Tuesday March. Yeah. That's what it was. This isn't I was expecting actually a quite more streamlined month because of all the COVID virus stuff. But then again, a lot of these things are in the pipeline for months in advance. So we got a pretty decent month. I think we had like 20 titles, Brian.
Yeah.
For April, which is about average. I mean, 20, 25 titles is about what you get.
Yeah, and I think actually this is good. It's funny that you brought that up, because I think because of this, and with all the different changes to release dates, theatrical, that are getting canceled, a lot more things may come out on Dismembered, so our future Dismemberments could end up being way more packed than normal, possibly.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. All right, well, let's get right to it. This is our Blu-ray releases for April 7th, and as you guys know, if you've been listening to our format, Brian and I will trade off on titles, and we're going to save our pick of the week as our last title. That's the one, the release that we just feel might be either the best bang for your buck, or it's just a movie we really like, or it just seems like the disc that you should buy that week. If you're going to buy any of them, that's Brian and I's pick of the week. Typically, we agree on what that is. Occasionally, we diverge a little bit. I think this month we were like right on target, and we didn't even like collaborate on what the picks of the week were. We just kind of picked them separate. We both came up to the same conclusion, so it should be really good.
And and it's funny, the one we differed on, we really technically didn't differ. It's just Tim went a little bit more detailed than I did.
I basically had them tied, so
yeah,
I couldn't decide between the two. All right, well, let's get right to it. The first one up is from, I don't know what label this is, because
I think it's Bill Zebub's personal label.
Yeah, if you've heard of Bill Zebub, who makes some really interesting, I guess we should say, horror releases. He's releasing an absurd horror double feature. These two movies came out in 2015 and 2016. And I'll just read you the synopsis. Aaron Brown stars in two horror movies that are legendary for their absurdity. The director is known for choosing the best camera angles for the stunning actresses, but he is even more famous for asking famous beauties to perform in bizarre scenes. The two movies in this set push the limits. Both stories are re-edited, offering alternate performances as well as other savory differences.
I think that's the first time I've heard a movie described with savory differences.
Yeah. This one includes two movies, Nightmare on Elmo's Street and Frankenshark.
Yeah, I literally could find nothing on Frankenshark. I will tell you. It's like it didn't exist. Now, there's something called Sharkenstein, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Well, I think I met this guy at one of the horror cons I went to.
We did. Well, I did. Seth and I did at or we went to his table. He was the one that was doing Dick Shark.
Mm-hmm,
It was at Bill Zebub. Yeah, he was at Chiller when Seth.
Yeah.
And I think you said you saw him at the one near you.
Mad Monster Party, yeah, because he was promoting Dick Shark at that time as well.
Dick Shark got around.
It really did. It really got around.
It got a lot of promotion for a movie that probably nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to watch these trailers, Brian. Unfortunately, guys, I did not get a chance to watch all the trailers for this week's Blu-ray. I mean, this month's Blu-ray releases, but Brian picked up the slack for me. I did get to watch these, and they are, like I said, they're interesting.
You found Frankenshark? Actually, I couldn't find it.
No, I didn't find Frankenshark, but I watched the Elmo one.
Oh my God! Does this thing look like a one though that I almost like? I think I have to see it. I mean, just that one with the puppet guy, and he's like, "I prey on you," and then there was that weird like other thing, and there's other like cut scenes that looked like they literally were taking like scenes off the cutting room floor and just like spacing them together in the trailer. And just a little tidbit that I don't know if I should be proud to know this, but Erin Brown used to be known as Misty Monday. Because and the reason I know this more than anything is because whatever that company she used to work for that did like Spider Babe and like the Lord of the G Strings with all that, they used to have a big table at Chiller all the time, and all the actresses were always there, and they would, you know, it would be like it would be a full table. And I remember I think I had a picture with me and with one of them. Darian Kane, but it was always those softcore, like more like, I mean, the Skinamax level of like softcore porn but like a parodies, you know, like they had Lord of the G String, Spider Babes. There was, I think one was like, sometimes they got lazy on the title. I think there was one we used to laugh at. It was just called Erotic Survivor, you know, just like basic stuff. So yeah, these guys, and so that's why. And Misty Monday was, I believe, there once, or there was a poster of her or something. Anyway, so, and Spider Babe actually used to always, for some reason, that was always seemed to play on, I think, on Cinemax late at night. And so anyway, so yeah, she became Erin Brown to try and go. From what I remember, I think I looked this up, and she wanted to be taken as a more serious actress. I don't know if this was the way to go. Nothing against Bill Zebub, because I mean every auteur, so to speak, you know, has their own niche, and this is his niche apparently, of making savory cuts of his films. But so that's who Erin Brown is, in case anyone was wondering, and that probably is like one of the most useless factoids you'll probably ever get on this show. But I felt the need to share it.
I mean, it worked. It worked for Lloyd Kaufman. I mean,
oh my God! By the way, speaking of Lloyd Kaufman, I know now people are going to be like thinking we are the biggest bunch of perverts, or at least me, apparently. But did you see his tweets?
No.
His one tweet over the weekend, where I looked at the time. As I'm scrolling through, and you know, he's on our feed. We follow him. He, of course, you know, because of Trauma Films, and we got to briefly meet him eating pizza at the New Jersey Horror Con with his wife. And anyway, so he had a thing, and it said here, our Trauma employees are encouraged to do social distancing at home, I guess, or something like that, or while social distancing, we have them do calisthenics at home. And I apologize for saying this, but I don't know any other way to say this, but it basically involved the video clip that he had showed underneath that statement was just a bunch of and remember, this is Trauma, so it's not surprising, a bunch of naked women or very scantily clad women running at the camera, jumping at it, vagina first.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That is not a joke. That is.
Well, now I gotta go look for that thread on Twitter.
Now, listen, I am always, you know, one thing we pride ourselves in, we're always honest with our listeners. And so that is the best way I could describe that. That's your cup of tea. Go right ahead and go seek that tweet out. It was somewhere over the weekend. But I remember the funniest thing was I was scrolling through as Julie was driving the car, because we had to kind of run an errand over the weekend, and we were kind of coming back. And so I was, Julie was driving. I was just scrolling through my tweets. And I literally go, "What?" And she goes, "What?" And I said, I literally said that. I was like, I don't know how to describe this to you, but remember that guy? Because he appeared on Comic Book Man. I'm like, remember that guy? And I described him. And after a few minutes, she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember him." She goes, "Well, he just tweeted a bunch of women jumping vagina first." She goes, "What?" But I'm like, yes, that's exactly the description I had to give.
That's great.
But anyway. So now that all our lovely female listeners have turned off the
Yeah.
podcast, I apologize. I did not mean for it to go that way, but
All right, so what we got next, Brian?
okay. I'll take a sip of my beer. This one actually I'm looking forward to. It may have been my pick of the week on some of the other weeks, and this one is Camp Coldbrook. And it's a paranormal team sets to check out an abandoned summer camp where a mass murder had taken place decades previous. So it's almost like a Friday the 13th kind of thing, maybe, if they ever went that found footage route, remember, with they were talking about once.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this is found footage. I think it's done in that, like, it's a regular film, just kind of has that vibe to it because it's going back to, I guess, to discover stuff. I don't know. But anyway, Danielle Harris is in it. It's got a decent cast, and so basically, Danielle Harris is an awesome scream queen, and I would watch anything she does. So this is one I've seen trailers on. I think it might be on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken, or it's on something. It was on some kind of streaming thing, I believe. But anyway, yeah. So this might have been my pick of the week on any of the normal weeks. It's got a good cast. Got to look that up. But yeah, and the trailer makes it look pretty decent. And like I said, Danielle Harris. Gotta support Danielle Harris, right?
Yeah, I like the premise of that. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
cool. It's actually playing on. I was looking it up right here. No, not yet on Prime. It's on Hoopla, whatever that is. But I think that's a subscription service. So otherwise, it looks like it's still out for digital purchase. So.
Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe it appeared when I was searching on Vudu, like in the horror section. That may have been what I spotted. You know what? With so many streaming services now, and I'm constantly on like these things looking for stuff, they all blend in.
Yeah, they really do. Oh my God. Sometimes I go to watch something and I pull up the wrong streaming service.
Seriously, oh my God, what was I going on? I think I was trying to get something on Netflix and I pulled up Shudder just out of habit.
Yeah.
So
the final release we have, before we get to our pick of the week, is from Scorpion Releasing in conjunction with Kino Lorber. And this is a Terror Train re-release from Terror Train, of course, being from 1980. We've covered it on the show before.
Yeah.
A fraternity masquerade party aboard a chartered train turns deadly when a psychotic classmate sets out for murderous revenge. Now,
classic, too.
Classic movie. I did not go the extra mile, unfortunately, to compare this with the previous versions that have been out. I will say that this one has a 2K restoration, a brand new interview with director Roger Spottiswoode, a new interview with writer Judith Rasco, and a theatrical trailer. I don't know how that compares to other editions. I think there's been a Shout Factory edition of this.
Yeah, that's the one. Isn't that the one we both have? I know I have it.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I do remember when we covered it on the show. I feel like there was another big collector's edition of this out. So
yeah, no, it's definitely one of those good Shout Factory things. I remember I bought it. Remember when we were worried that Shout Factory was going to stop making stuff? And we jumped on Life Force and we jumped on something else. That was one that I jumped on quick. I don't know what it was. What was it? It was like a scare where they weren't releasing them or they were losing the rights. I think Cone sent us something. Yeah. Maybe they were losing the rights to things. No. And hey, that's why. Maybe they lost the rights and now Kino Lorber was able to get them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do own that disc because that's what I used to watch for the episode. I'm pretty almost positive. So but I don't know, that one kind of falls under the reissue category, but that is a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I try not to make those pick of the weeks when it's just a straight re-release and it's not even maybe the premiere edition. I'm not saying this edition may not be fine, and if you don't have it and if you can't get a hold of the other one, then this might be your best bet because I think this is one of those ones that just need to be in your collection if you're a horror fan, especially, if with Jamie Lee Curtis as she was her rise to the queen of the Scream Queens. I mean, this was just a fantastic
you definitely need to know this one.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, so you get to take the pick of the week.
Why don't they come? Why don't they come? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I suppose he can bring me back after I'm dead.
She may be more dangerous now than when they had her locked in a cell.
So both our pick of the week is this movie called Supernatural from 1933. And, Tim and I love those classic horrors. And the fact that we can have these now on a Blu-ray the best, probably better quality than ever before. I mean,
Yeah, this looks better than it ever did.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I mean, so this is from 1933, and now we're getting this stuff for, you can only dream of this back in the day when this thing released, that you would have it in your home. But anyway, so here's a long description for this. It says, Supernatural stars Hollywood legend Carol Lombard as a woman possessed by a murderer's dark soul. Roma, whose twin brother has recently been murdered, becomes easy prey for a corrupt medium who arranges a seance to conjure up the lost twin's supposedly troubled soul. Meanwhile, a murderess accused of strangling her lovers awaits her fate in the electric chair. Before she dies, she agrees to donate her body to a scientist for his unique life-after-death research. Eerily, I feel like this is going on like the whole movie, but eerily, the doctor's first experiment on the now-deceased woman occurs at precisely the same time as the seance. In an evil twist of fate, Roma becomes possessed by the murderess's wicked spirit. Kind of almost like child's play. Kind of thing. It says, in a race against time, the doctor and Roma's fiancé struggle to undo the horrible curse in this inventive ghost story.
It's quite a complex plot there for a 1933 movie.
Seriously, I mean, this is like it's almost like 7 different horror movies that we know of now, like split into, instead of split, but put into one. And the special features are good. It's got 2K master of the film, the theatrical trailer, and of course, it's got an audio commentary by our Southern gentleman, Tim Lucas, but he's not a film historian in this one. He's just a critic.
Should we do a disclaimer? We have no idea who these people are, and we've made up imaginary personas for all of them. So if you haven't listened to our previous Discmemberments, last month in particular is where this all kicked off.
Yes, and you can all blame Cody because she cataloged it for us. So now we have them at full.
Yeah, so now we can reference them. And Tim Lucas is our Southern redneck movie critic, sort of the Joe Bob figure, I guess, of all this.
Yeah, so he's probably like, back in 1933, this supernatural film blended a bunch of stuff thrown in there. And I apologize to Joe Bob because that's not what all he sounds like. Yeah. And I will say Joe Bob is got to be one of the most.
Well, you weren't doing Joe Bob. You were doing Tim Lucas. He sounds.
I was doing Tim Lucas. And
it was a spot on Tim Lucas.
It was. I think so. I think it was. Watch. It'd be funny if Tim Lucas is totally like some guy that went to my temple. And he's like some Jewish guy, and he's like, "What are you talking about? Giving me that accent?" But anyway. But yeah. No. But I will say there was something I forgot. It was the discussion of something, and I was like. I said, they were talking about the wealth of film knowledges, and I'm like, you can't count out Joe Bob because he knows.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, God, especially after I saw him in person do that Redneck Saved Hollywood. Jesus, this guy knows everything you need to know about film. I'll tell you, this guy's awesome.
I like how Brian put full on old timey trailer.
Yeah, it was though, wasn't it? It was like that thing with the with the description what would happen if kind of thing. So, and it was all it was a long trailer. It was like when the trailers were literally about a scene of a movie almost. But
that's great.
Yeah.
So
apologies to Tim Lucas, Joe Bob, whoever else we insulted today, the guy in my temple. I don't know.
Women jumping at the cameras with vaginas first.
Yeah. God. Boy, I'm not having a good week. Okay.
All right. So to recap, April 7th, we have absurd horror double feature featuring Nightmare on Elmo Street and Frankenshark, Camp Coldbrook with Danielle Harris, a Terror Train reissue, and Supernatural, our pick of the week from 1933, starring the great Carol Lombard. So let's move right on to April 14th, and we got a big stack of discs this week. We have 6 titles, and the first one up is The Golem, or Der Golem, from Kino
This isn't the Limehouse Golem, right?
No, not the Lime. This is not the Limehouse. This is just plain Golem. The Limehouse has that twist of lime that, it's like the more summery seasonal Golem.
Right. This is bleak. Wait, it's in Prague. It's bleak, bleaker thing of
he's like the Golem. Bud Light of Golems. He's not the Bud Light with lime. This one is from 1920, and I've actually seen this movie, Brian. This is, of course, a silent film. In 16th century Prague, a Jewish rabbi creates a giant creature from clay called the Golem, and using sorcery, brings the creature to life in order to protect the Jews of Prague from persecution. I actually watched this one. I saw it on maybe Criterion channel. I have a trial to Criterion streaming service. And it was on one of my that 1,000 horror movies list, and so I decided to watch it, and it's pretty impressive because you think of these silent movies and you think of something. I guess in my mind, I always think of silent films being like 20 minutes long or something. This is
Oh my God.
this is like a full length feature film, so it was really really impressive. Yeah, I don't know much to say about it. It's the classic Jewish fable, but very interesting and very neat design for the golem itself. And this one has some cool special features. It has a 4K restoration of the German release, the U.S. release version with music by Cordula Heth.
Who is that? Who is Cordula? Like, can't you see? Like, she reminds me of almost like the like. And I don't know if this is even. It could be a man for all I know, but I don't know. I hear that. I feel like that's like the rich woman who like with a big fur, so like basically Cruella de Vil.
Yeah,
Cordula. It's Cordula. She's come to the garden party. You know. But,
she's like a pipe organ.
Yeah, right? Can't you picture that? And she's like
Cordula
7.5 feet tall and really skinny.
So it has like a big turban and a big long cigarette holder.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, yeah. Cordula de Vil, maybe. That's what it is. Okay.
This one does have an audio commentary by, guess who? Tim Lucas. This time he's a film historian.
Yeah, he look at that.
He put his
when he
film
goes to
historian.
older film, he like by dropping back like about 10 plus years, he's now the historian again.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't be a historian if it's after 1930. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know, but it does have music by Stephen Horn, music by Admir Shkurtai.
Could that guy have any other
my God
profession to go into?
Oh yeah,
Stephen Horn. But music.
Sometimes you grow into your name, you know.
Yeah.
Music by Lukas Wudek Polajak, and a comparison of the German and U.S. release versions. So that's a way throwback there. And I enjoyed it, but there's only so much silent film I can take. I took a film appreciation class in college, and we watched a lot of silent movies. And I did genuinely get an appreciation for a lot of those old films, but man, it's grueling to sit there and watch a movie that's no dialogue and no sound for that long, even though they typically put these new orchestral scores around them.
Well, back in the day, wasn't that when they had the live?
Yeah,
like Wurlitzer orchestra, like a person playing, like a thing or something, like they would have that. Because I remember there was a theater in California that it was one of those old historical theaters that they restored, and every once in a while they would show silent movies and they had one of those big organs that they would play.
I'll tell you something to never do. Never watch a silent movie that they've overdubbed, because I actually watched one like that where they had basically, I think it was actually film students who were doing the overdubbing, not professional actors. And it was really, really bad. It was almost Mystery Science Theater 3000 worthy, but they weren't trying to be funny, which was the bad part.
Oh, no, yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, and it's funny you said that, because I could not find a trailer that wasn't, like, tampered with like, fake music added in. So I didn't know, but it was, like, almost like the music was so loud that it drowned out...
drowned out the silence.
It drowned out the silence. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But like almost to the point of where I was like that person that doesn't know, like, you know, I felt like it's one of those things where, you know, like you'll be talking to someone, they turn on the radio louder, but then they just talk louder rather than turning the radio down and talking in a normal voice.
Then it just keeps escalating.
Exactly. That's what I felt like with this. And I was like, I can't watch this. I don't care. I cannot watch this anymore. I mean, in hindsight, I probably could have just turned the volume down myself and watched it the way it should have been. But I don't think that way sometimes after a long day at work. And I say at work, meaning at my desk, my makeshift desk at home.
Yeah, or quarantine work now.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, so what do we got next before we get to our pick of the week?
Okay. So the next one is The Wind. It's by an hour release, and I think this is also, because I saw this as The Edge of Terror, so you might be able to find it. There were two titles. I swear to God, I think this week, Tim, everything had a second title.
And this one's not to be confused with the recent The Wind release that I really want to see, which is that Western horror thriller.
Yes, that one looks
This is
cool,
a 1986 film.
Yeah, no, this is definitely an older one. So this one is, it says, here's a really super detailed description, so buckle up and get ready. A novelist is stalked by a psychopath one stormy night.
One dark and stormy
night.
night.
Wait, did you think there was more by my preview of that? Yeah, no, that's it. But But this is a pretty packed disc, as our releases tend to be. They do a good job. And what is on there is a new restoration by Arrow Films from a 4K scan of the original negative, approved by writer-director Nico Mastorakis. It says optional English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, optional Greek subtitles.
Ooh.
You don't hear that very often signaled out. I like that.
But he's a Greek filmmaker, so it makes sense.
He is. So yeah, I guess he he's like, listen, if I'm gonna make this thing, you better give me my subtitles. Original. This is a lot of audio description here. It says original DTS 8D HD Master Audio 5.1 surround and LPCM Stereo 2.0 audio. I really got detailed there. And this, by far, has got to be one of the best documentary titles. Blowing the Wind. Brand new interviews with director Nico Mastorakis.
That sounds like something to be on a Beelzebub disc.
Seriously. Then there's The Sound of the Wind. Complete soundtrack composed by Hans Zimmer. Okay, that's
there you
good.
go.
And Stanley Myers. I don't know why I said his name like that. I apologize. It kind of like drawled out his name. It says a collection of trailers from the films of Nico Mastorakis. So apparently that they were running low on other features. I guess there wasn't another wind pun they could have made to make this. Reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Graham Humphreys. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they do that. And first pressing only illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by critic and author Kat Ellinger.
Kat is a woman.
Okay. She is. We figured that out.
We're gonna for the first time in Civil War history, we're gonna call her by her proper gender.
Yes, and we apologize to her. She's not returned any of our calls. No, we didn't call her. But anyway, so this trailer is kind of weird. So I saw it, like I said earlier. I saw the trailer. The way I found it was The Edge of Terror, but I noticed Meg Foster is in it, so that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And not sure what's going on here, but there's several mentions of wind, and it looks windy. That's exactly what I got from the trailer. So they are taking that name, The Wind, and they are going as into it as you possibly can. I guess this is like the other weather version of The Fog, but instead it's The Wind.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it. All right. So release number. This is the next release up this week is Unearthed Films Gutter Balls Collector's Edition 2008.
I think I've seen this one actually.
Really? Oh. And I forgot to do a Brian's pick, Brian.
I know, it's okay.
Well, it's okay. We can't every month can't be a winner, folks. A brutally sadistic rape leads to a series of bizarre, gory murders during a midnight disco bowlerama at a popular bowling alley. One by one, players of two teams meet blood-drenched, gruesome deaths at the hands of a black bowling gloved masked killer. Yeah. This alley runs red with blood by sunrise. So a bowling-themed slasher. I like it.
Yeah, this one is So this was I mean, they had a cool song in the trailer. And I have to say bowling horror I definitely think is an underused horror trope. I mean, we've seen it in a couple of things. I mean, Anna and the Apocalypse had that cool.
You got the slime ball bowlerama.
Slime ball bowlerama, yeah, but that's really it. But I came up with this thing that I think they really should strike while the iron is hot, and spare no expense in getting the next bowling movie out there.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know you did. I didn't mean to pin that one on you.
I was framed.
Yeah, and then all these jokes are just going into the gutter. Okay, we'll move on. So the next one, and actually, I think this is where my fate is going to be. The next release is by 20th Century Fox, Underwater, from 2020. This is one actually I want
to see this one. This looks kind of cool.
Yes, this one is. You've seen a ton of things, and underwater horror actually has always been a cool subgenre. I thought, because it's one of those things that you really don't think of it like you always. The only way you experience that true deep underwater stuff is a scuba diving, and that's a little bit nerve-wracking at some level, even if you're a scuba diver, because you're just in this really unnatural environment at some level. You don't. I don't know if you've ever been scuba diving or
no. I haven't.
I've never done scuba diving. I've done snorkeling, which is the closest thing, and even that feels a little weird. We did that in Hawaii.
I don't like going. I don't like going underwater.
Oh, okay. So Tim does not want to buy this release. That's why this is not the pick of the week.
No.
But anyway, in case you haven't seen the trailer for this, I'm sure you have. But anyway, it's mysterious creatures terrorize crew members aboard a research station located 7 miles below the surface of the ocean. That to me, that's like a no-no. That's a job I will not take. Sorry.
This reminds me of The Abyss, and that was a great movie.
It does. It does. It reminds me of a little bit like, or it's like almost like The Thing, but if it took place underwater, kind of too. But we could be completely wrong when we actually see the movie. But it's got an alternate ending with optional commentary and a deleted scene with optional commentary. By the way, the optional commentary is me and Tim. But no, it's not. But and then there's something called Rock Garden, which I assume is a special feature. And then it's got extended scenes with optional commentary, and then a documentary, I guess, called Crew Suit Up. Gantry Exit, Baby Klinger, Midway Station, Ocean Floor Walk, and Smith Departure. Oh, those are the extended scenes. I'm sorry. Those are a little standalone documentary. Yeah. Okay, I'm on point today. Okay, and here are the featurettes. Real Bunny Montage, Making Underwater. Why is that on there? I don't understand what that means. But Making Underwater, Design, what weird like list of special features is
I don't know. They make as much sense as the deleted scenes. Descriptions.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what this is, but okay. So it's got a feature audio commentary by William Eubank, Jared Purrington. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Oh boy, see what quarantining does to me. Okay, and Phil Gawthorne.
He's a meowster of his craft.
God.
I guess him and Kat Ellinger should hang out.
They should. Why were they not on the same disc? They've got a future in that, definitely.
If I ever have a cat that wears a monocle, he'll definitely be named Jared Purrington.
Yeah, I think you do, Jared
Esquire.
Purrington. Yeah. Yes, I mean, as awful as that sounds, you need to have that. Yeah. And we would not be feline about that at all. Okay. My God, if we have any listeners left by this point, this might be a record into
We're going crazy, guys. We've been stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yes, and the fact that we're recording a couple days late too. Tim and I had no outlet for like a week and a half. Okay, but anyway, as I said before, yeah, the cool deep sea horror is it's always a cool subgenre, and it's always ones that I will seek out because I think, like Tim said too, I'm like I mean I can go underwater, but going super deep underwater would not be my first choice to do something. Like I said, snorkeling might be the limit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I think I like that because it gives me like a way to experience it without really going in there.
All right. Well, next up we have Possession, another movie called Possession.
I'm still laughing at Purrington.
That was great.
I'm laughing at my own joke. Oh, okay.
I'm still kind of like tittering about it, giggling about it.
Tim's tittering.
I'm tittering. So this was, you remember we talked last week about how there's so many movies named Possession? Well, here's another one.
I was cracked. I thought you did this on purpose.
No.
Like this wasn't really being released. You just put it on here.
No, and I actually own this movie too, and I think I also got it out of that horror Blu-ray subscription box. This is by MVD Visual. It was a 2008 movie starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, of all people. A woman's husband collides with his brother in a freak car accident, landing both of them in comas. Complications arise when the brother wakes and believes that he is the woman's husband. So this one, I did watch this one. I feel like it's more kind of the thriller variety than true horror, but it does have and it's not very good. It does have a making of featurette with Sarah Michelle Gellar. It has deleted and alternate scenes, an original theatrical trailer, English and Spanish subtitles, and reversible artwork.
You started to purr.
I'm just wanting to purr again.
Now we're going to just purr all night.
Jared Purrington.
That poor guy.
Oh my God.
Does he not know what he did by just existing? Okay.
It's such a great cat name. It is.
It sounds like what was it like what was the one on Friends, like something Meowington or something like Ross and
I used to call my cats that. My current cat's not so much, but my old cat Morris, I used to call him like,
oh, my buddy Morris.
Yeah, Morris. Oh. But before he passed away, he was known as like, I'd call him all kinds of things like Colonel Morris of the 32nd Airborne Division, and like, or General Morris of the 15th Feline Brigade. He had all kinds of military
Morris
titles.
What a good cat
he was. An awesome
Remember he
cat.
sat on my lap for like 3 hours straight?
He was the best cat ever. The most
I love
gentle
Morris.
giant, huge cat, and he was just never bit, never scratched, never. He was just sweet.
And remember that was like literally the first time I ever had met him, and like he literally just came to me, sat on my lap for 3 hours while we all talked in the living room like that, and I was just petting him, and he was as happy as a clam. I swear.
Yeah, God bless Morris. Rest in peace. I love that cat. He was awesome.
Yes.
All right, Brian. So what's our pick of the week?
In the 18th century in Central Europe, a black terror swept across the face of the land. The curse of vampirism, which had been a half-forgotten memory for hundreds of years, returned with a fury that struck unholy fear into the hearts of every man, woman, and child. One man dared to make a stand against this evil epidemic. One man dared to hurl a challenge of cold steel against the terror of the undead. He was Captain Kronos, vampire hunter.
Captain Kronos, vampire hunter. 1974, and it's a Shout Factory release, so you got a big thing here. So
And it's 1974, so I have to own this.
Yes, this will be a Tim must, and this was both our picks of the week actually, just for that reason. I mean, it's a packed disc, and it's just one of those movies that I could see you just like on a nice like rainy Sunday afternoon, like popping in to your Blu-ray player.
I love these. I love.
Oh, yeah. So this is cool. So it's basically the description is a master swordsman and former soldier and his hunchbacked assistant hunt vampires. So you got a lot of mixed genres here. It's got a bunch of cool featurettes here. There's new audio commentary with critic Bruce G. Hallenbach.
That's a new one.
I noticed that. I know. I don't think we've had him. And again, he has not ascended to the film historian. He's just a critic now, because I think the movie's too recent to be able to do that. But in this one, oh my God, Tim, if there's a documentary on a disc that is for you, listen to this. Anything Goes, a Hammer film in the 70s featurette.
Oh yeah.
Now that
amazing.
is a wait, Tim, there is something in here though. If I just noticed this. It says audio commentary with writer, director, producer Brian Clemens, actress Carolyn Monroe, Hammer Films historian Jonathan Softcott.
Oh, Jonathan Softcott.
He seem like someone that will like laugh after everything. Like he says, like he'd be like, "This film had everything, including a vampire hunter." No. Yes.
Oh yeah, we didn't have Jonathan Softcott on here either.
No, we didn't. He's being added, and so Cody put that down as a laughing maniac. Apparently,
he's a laughing British. He's a jovial old soul, Jonathan Softcott.
In fact, I'm going to have a cup of brew. I swear to God, I don't know why we've made him into Billy D. Williams from Rise of Skywalker, where every line he delivered had that laugh, and I don't know
why I'm exaggeratingly rubbing an imaginary round stomach while I laugh.
It's that beer, because you're quarantined. It's your quarantine stomach. That's what it is. We all have those now. Oh boy, this really may be our most wild dismemberment ever. This is crazy.
So, you imagine the ones like a month from now when we're still in
Oh
quarantine.
my God. Yeah, because I don't know about you, but they've already announced me, like my work at home has been extended through April. So I know I've got 4 more weeks of this right now.
Yeah.
This could. Yeah, I can't wait till our May Discmember. Like, hang on. God help it if it's like film historian packed,
Yeah, I'm like completely stir crazy now.
It
everything is funny to me now.
It is, because like you're literally like just like, what did I found myself? I found myself like, I think like laughing at like an email from Target or something today. I'm really like losing my mind. It's like it's funny. I who would have thought that? How many Americans are there? Seriously, what's the total of people in this country right now?
350 million-ish.
No, billions. It's got to be in billions or something billion, right?
No, in the country, 350 million.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
That's it?
yeah.
350 million? Okay, well, just picture now, like, all these people are now relating more to Jack Torrance than anybody else.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did I think there were billion in the United States?
That's in China. China has billions, actually.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, see, that's what happens when we're not filling out our census
Yeah.
in time. I get wrong facts. We actually did ours online.
Yeah, I did mine online as well. Yeah. I
Yeah,
came to
so
my
that's pretty
census. So
Oh, well, I walked right to that one. That was a
it
good
didn't
one.
come to me. I
I
came
like
to-
that one.
so to
That gets 3 purrs for you on that one, too.
So to recap April 14th, we have The Golem from Kino Lorber, 1920, The Wind from Arrow, 1986, Gutterball CE from Unearthed Films, 2008 bowling slasher, Underwater from 2020, 20th Century Fox, MVD Visuals Possession from 2008, Sarah Michelle Gellar vehicle, and then our pick of the week, Shout Factory, fantastic collector's edition of Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. Great Hammer
Yes,
film.
and that disc is, of course, our pick of the week, only because you get to see Prince Valiant fighting vampires and an imaginary film historian rubbing his... No, sorry, an actual film historian rubbing his imaginary belly going, ho, ho, ho. So, yeah. So if that's not enough ammo for pick of the week, I don't know what is.
That's great. All right, so that brings us to April 21st. And we have 4 releases this week, and one of them is a doozy, which we'll get to here in just a second. But first up, we have Universal's The Turning. This was released this year. A young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after the deaths of their parents. A modern take on Henry James' novella, The Turn of the Screw. And this one has a, as you would expect from a Universal disc, just a handful of features, behind the turning featurette, alternate ending, and deleted scenes.
Yes. So that was well, at least it's lining up that you get to do the picks of the week, Tim.
Yeah.
The next one is Severin Films, as released Blood and Flesh: The Real Life and Ghastly Death of Al Adamson. I don't know why I read that wrong. It says Maverick indie filmmaker Al Adamson. It's real life. Why am I struggling with that name? Real life was even crazier than one of the 30-plus section schlock drive-in movies that he made in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, that's all I got.
I've got to read up on this guy because apparently he was murdered. And apparently he had a really wild life. But we'll get to that in a second because actually he's coming up again. Okay. But first up, my pick of the week.
I have him like he's in our imaginary green room.
Yeah.
Like he's like,
we'll be right back.
Not yet, Al. Wait.
So my pick of the week, and this was kind of tied with the one that Brian's going to talk about, is The Curse of the Werewolf Collector's Edition from Shout Factory. This is another fantastic classic Shout Factory Collector's Edition, 1961.
The Curse of the Werewolf that was laid on a baby who grew into a man possessed by a monster.
In Spain, Leon is born on Christmas Day to a mute servant girl who is raped by a beggar. His mother dies giving birth, and he's looked after by Don Alfredo, who makes a great sauce, by the way. As a child, Leon becomes a werewolf after having been taken hunting. As a young man, he works in a wine cellar and falls in love with the owner's daughter, Christina. One full moon, he again turns into a werewolf and terrifies the town. And even if you haven't seen this movie, you probably recognize the werewolf makeup because it's very iconic.
I think I've seen this, yeah.
Yeah, very iconic. This is a new 4K restoration of the film from an interpositive, which sounds fancy. A new audio commentary with actress Yvonne Romaine, special makeup effects artist Mike Hill, and composer Leslie Brickus.
Oh, Leslie Brickus.
Brickus.
Yeah.
New audio commentary with author, film historian Steve Haberman. Steve Haberman was our... Oh, we don't have Steve Haberman on here either.
No, that's funny. These two have been mentioned hundreds of times. They just happen to not be on that.
Oh, yeah.
That free-for-all last week.
Geez.
Last month.
And then
where Cody could write them down.
Our good friend Konstantin Nazer.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm like kind of at a loss of what they would be like, you know?
They're almost too popular. Like I don't know if I can even go there with them. They were almost like we mentioned them so much they're hard to just do an impression of.
And maybe if they're together in this one, they're like Statler and Waldorf. I don't know.
Maybe. New featurette, The Men Who Made Hammer with Roy Ashton.
Oh, wow. You're getting these Hammer featurettes, Tim, like for you.
Both
all
of these
over the
discs
place.
I'm going to have to get. New Serial Killer, Benjamin Frankel, Serialism and the Curse of the Werewolf. The Making of the Curse of the Werewolf, including interviews with actors Catherine Feller and Yvonne Romaine, Mike Hill, art director Don Bengay, art department member Margaret Robinson, and filmmaker Jimmy Sangster. Not Jimmy Dempster.
Wait, what's an art department member?
What's the guy that...
That's a new one.
He takes the stuff from over there and he puts it over there.
I guess. Well, it's a she in this case.
Yeah.
It's Margaret Robinson, but yeah.
Well, Brian, we don't really care.
Yeah, that's true. Gender is just a suggestion for us, apparently, in our dismemberments.
Lycanthropy, The Beast in All of Us, Censoring the Werewolf, theatrical trailer, Trailers from Hell with commentary by filmmaker John Landis. That sounds cool. Radio spot and still gallery. And man, this looks like a fantastically fun disc.
Yeah. And then the trailer has the best green fonts ever. Bright green, like jump out of the screen fonts. I don't know why.
I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, this next one, this might be pick of the year. This is a...
just for its inclusive
things. Just a fair warning before Brian gets into this one. This is I think when I looked it up, it's over $200 set.
Yeah.
But I'll let Brian describe it. And literally too many extras to list, so...
He was the king of B-movies. He exploited any and everything he could.
Yeah, we're just gonna give like Tim said, this may be the most complete set in our like short 4-year history of going over discs, just in terms of its inclusive. This is basically like almost if you took like every Universal set that's out there, including those the secondary monster ones plus the real monster, and you put it all in one set basically, and you have the Al Adamson Master Collection. And basically, so here's the thing, it's from the 60s to 70s, so there's only like, I guess if you fold the full 70s, it's like only a 20-year run here of movies. But Severin Films is proud to present the most comprehensive Blu-ray box set ever dedicated to the works of a single genre filmmaker with Al Adamson, the Masterpiece Collection, featuring 31 remastered Adamson's films. Why am I struggling with the name? Adamson films on 14 discs, plus trailers, audio commentaries, a 126-page book. The 2019 documentary feature Blood and Flesh, the real life and ghastly death of Al Adamson, and we've already said that it's getting a secondary, like a separate release.
Yeah, if you don't want to get the whole box set, just want the documentary, you can buy that separately.
Right. Yeah. And more. It says exhaustively compiled for the first time ever, Adamson's oeuvre spans a wild beyond belief world of bloody brains, vicious cowboys, naughty nurses, decrepit actors, sexy stewardesses, mad scientists, brutal bikers, blaxploitation mayhem, kung fu killers, and scenes so sick the movies could never show them before. And that's only in the first 10 minutes of The Tiger King. No, sorry. But no, yeah, so this literally, as I guess this guy is, I mean, I've heard this guy's name before. I don't remember where, may have been on a Joe Bob thing, I don't know, but I know I've heard his name mentioned. I don't think I realized he had this massive of a like a filmography, I guess. But so anyway, but this set just seems like something, even if I've never seen one of these films, this automatically seems like a set I want just for its staggering size, It's like, it's one of those cool things you just like it's almost one of those things where you have a guest over and you're showing them the new house and they're like, oh, and here's our living room. Oh, by the way, have I showed you my Al Adamson collection?
Yeah.
Like that's it just flows off the tongue. Like that would be a thing.
I would love to, I'd love to find some way to get this. I know it's expensive, but man, well,
I'll tell you, if anything I've learned with Amazon and these sets, and since I don't see it saying it's like a limited number, I could see this thing, especially in the climate of the world right now. I really don't think that Al Adamson, no offense, is on the top of everyone's buying list. I think keep an eye on it. I would kind of like be one of those things like I would go into Amazon click on it, add it to your cart, save it for later, because then they send you alerts if something goes down.
Mhm.
And keep an eye on this, because I have a feeling like sometimes they have those sales, and you could see it probably like between 30 to 50% off. And I made that mistake with that amazing Harry Potter set, which I don't regret it, because I think the set is one of the coolest sets I ever known. That's that one in the trunk, remember I showed you, with
that
all the
was
secret
amazing.
compartments and everything. But I mean, I spent $300 on it when it came out, and I remember it went on sale one time for like $190. So, and I'm like, but that was numbered, so I got a little nervous. I got, one of those non-buyer's remorse, I guess. So, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put that in my Amazon cart and just save it for later. So at least if it ever goes on sale or drops in price, it'll like send me an email and say, oh, an item in your cart has gone down in price. So, but so this one just seems like one of the coolest sets, to own. It's like there's sets in my collection that are like that, where I just. Like, I think that when I was a teenage Zabazoing, it sounded so cool when you described it, so I bought that set. I still have not watched it or opened it even, but it's just one of those ones I put in my collection because it's kind of like a cool like conversation piece,
I thought I was crazy for spending as much money as I did on that Halloween box set, but it's still a treasured centerpiece of my collection. I don't regret that money at all, so I can imagine if I did finally break down and get something like this, I would just treasure it.
Yeah. Well, I remember you're getting a second chance, by the way. I know this is kind of off the cuff here, but remember they announced that 12-disc Friday the 13th set, which I still don't understand how, with all the lawsuits, this was managed to be put on the docket. Yeah. But it's coming out over the summer, and it's a 12-disc set, and it's going to first set to ever contain the unrated Jason Goes to Hell Blu-ray. They released it on video, VHS, and it was on regular DVD, but the Blu-ray never had the unrated cut. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to get that.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, this one, and I'm gonna double dip on it. I mean, this will be like the 9th time I've bought these series. Between that and Star Wars, I think I keep buying these sets, but it's franchises that I love, so I'm gonna make sure I get them.
All right, so to recap, April 21st, we had The Turning from Universal. That was a 2020 film, a modern take on The Turn of the Screw. We had Severin Films releasing Blood and Flesh, The Real Life and Ghastly Death of Al Adamson. That's a documentary that's also found on that huge set, Brian's Pick of the Week, Al Adamson, The Masterpiece Collection, which is a 14-disc, 31-film set with tons of extras. And we didn't even mention, Brian, when I said too many extras to list, that's because every film had extras. So all 31 films had some kind of extra on it. And then my pick of the week was The Curse of the Werewolf Collector's Edition from Shout Factory, 1961, with a lot of great features on that. So let's get to April.
Oh, just real quick, I noticed Target is selling it for $198.99.
Ah, okay.
So it's a little cheap. It's under $200. Oh, and Severin Films actually direct. You can get it for $170.
Ooh, wow, that's getting.
So there you go. It's dropping already just by us talking about
it. Nice. All right, so that brings us to April 28th, and we have another pretty packed week with 6 releases. First up, we have The Lost Continent from 1968. This is a Shout Factory release. The nightmare begins when Captain Lanson attempts to transport illegal explosives and a motley group of passengers on a rusty tramp steamer that becomes stranded in the vast floating swamp of the mysterious Sargasso Sea. Under cover of night, the terrified travelers encounter unspeakable monsters, man-eating seaweed, vicious mutant pirates, and stupendously endowed women. Wow.
Stupendously endowed.
Stupendously endowed. I did not see any special features, but there probably will be some on this one. So check your listings for that, but that sounds like another...
One of them may be Lloyd Kaufman watching it with you.
Yes, I don't know. Or them jumping at the camera in 3D. I don't know. But yeah, that one sounds like another one of those Shout Factory releases where they do these weird 60s one-offs that I still want to collect.
Yeah, no, this looks like a really cool set. And I remember watching the trailer on this, and it was really like one of those cool retro type of monster movies, which always seemed to catch me and Tim's fancy. So, okay, and so the next one here we got is, I don't know if this is AGFA or AGVA.
Yeah, that's that American Great Film Archive or whatever.
That's right. We knew that.
Yeah, we looked it up one time.
I forgot. We did. And anyway, this is called the McPherson Tape from 1989. It says, on a typical fall evening in 1983, A young man was videotaping his niece's 5th birthday party. As the night's strange occurrences took place, he kept his video camera running, recording the entire event. And so this is, I guess, is the found footage.
But it's also known as UFO abduction. That's its more popular title, actually.
Yeah, and that's actually, that's what I saw. And I searched both, and I couldn't find the trailer. But yeah, so it's got a new transfer from the original 3-4-inch master tape.
Ooh.
That's interesting. UFO abduction, the 2017 director's cut. So I guess a couple of years ago, they decided to redo it, which is interesting. Commentary track with the director Dean Alioto on the original cut, a 1989 theatrical premiere introduction, and Encounters TV segment. You know, based on that story, I kind of remember this as like them talking about this as if it was a real thing. I don't know if it was, maybe I saw it on Encounters TV, but I kind of remember this. Was this based on something that someone claims to be true, or is it?
I don't know, but I remember when I was younger hearing about, somebody was telling me they had seen this UFO tape of where these aliens had crashed this people's house, and there was footage of it and everything, and they were convinced it was like real. And it makes me wonder if it was like this movie, possibly.
Maybe. Well, I remember that this was probably, I'd say, maybe like 15 years ago, or maybe even longer. Maybe in the late 90s, early 2000. There was something, I remember Fox aired it. Fox 5. They was a documentary, and I remember a friend of mine was telling me about it, and so I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool, and I had missed it. She was telling me at work, and then it happened to air again a couple of months later. They like re-aired it, and it was this, but it was supposedly it was like a real like document. I mean, I guess now that we know what Fox turned into, who knows what it was, but it was like this real thing where they were showing video footage of this guy, and I remember he was like, it was at a farmhouse kind of a thing, and he would like, literally they got this footage, and there was one scene that creeped me out where they would go look outside, and there were these really tall, skinny like things. I mean, you couldn't make it out, you couldn't, and that was the thing. It was what they were trying to see, if it was an actual fake thing, or it was someone that's, they really caught it on camera. But I remember I recorded it and showed it to my brother, and it freaked him out.
Oh,
it was really well done, whatever it was, whether it was fake or not. But
I was kind of reading up on this. Apparently, this was released originally as if it was real footage, and it was only after pressure that the filmmaker actually admitted to creating it. So it was actually, maybe that's why people think it was real, because there's still people that claim it is real, and that the admission that it was done on a production was actually part of the cover-up or whatever. So
yeah, and maybe this was what they showed, and it was just years later on Fox.
Yeah,
that's
interesting. It's got me intrigued. I want to watch this now.
I know, and actually, now that I'm looking at it, this might have been pick of the week. Except when you hear our pick of the week, you'll see why we picked it. I mean, it was a pretty tough one to knock off as our pick of the week, but I might look this up now, or just order it, for God's sake. I mean, this one, this seems like right up my alley. Like, I remember, I love those like alien abduction movies.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
like Fire in the Sky.
Yeah,
I loved.
Oh
my God, that was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, that was great. All right, so next up we have from Vinegar Syndrome, Deadline from 1984. A screenwriter begins to lose the ability to distinguish between his fantasies and reality, with disastrous results. As he thinks about what this could mean, his wife and his children begin to worry if he's become insane. It says a new 2K restoration, producing something horrific, an interview with producer Henry Less. Less is more. Embracing the horror, an interview with cinematographer Manfred Guth, and reversible cover artwork. Guta, I don't know. Not much information on that one. I couldn't, like you said, I couldn't find a trailer either, Brian. And the synopsis is not super detailed, so I don't know much about Deadline.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, some of these, and it's like I always make a good concerted effort to try multiple sources. Like I usually go right to YouTube and search the trailer.
Yeah.
If I can't find it on there, I'll go double back to IMDb to see. Sometimes they have the trailer on there, but also to see if there's any kind of like other title it was. Because sometimes you'll find like what was that one with the. Remember we went back and forth and like we found like 18 different titles for it.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
It was like that. It's like so sometimes that's a source. But if I go back and forth between all those options and looking and I still can't find it, I just I usually give up at that point. Obviously, it was not meant for us to watch. But so the next one again is our Vinegar Syndrome is back with Dolly Dearest from 1991. Yeah, and this one says American family moves to Mexico to fabricate dolls, but their toy factory happens to be next to a Sanzian grave, and the toys come into possession of an old malicious spirit. This one, I think, it used to be on cable.
Yeah, this is one of those Child's Play knockoffs that came out.
Yeah. Although I will say, the doll in this, super creepy.
Yeah, it does have a creepy doll.
Facial expressions.
And a very famous box cover.
Yes, it was one of those box covers you used to always see at Blockbuster and stuff. So it's a new 2K restoration from an Interpositive. That's all. Newly scanned and restored 2K from its 35mm Interpositive. Playing with dolls, an interview with lead actress and our buddy from the con that we had a nice conversation with, Denise Crosby.
Fantastic
Dressing
woman.
the part. Yes,
very nice.
Wonderful woman. Dressing the part, an interview with actor Ed Gale, and reversible cover artwork.
Yep, I remember renting that one back in the old video store days, rental days. Next up, from Vinegar Syndrome, they were just knocking them out of the park this week. We have Pale Blood from 1990. Michael Fury is a vampire, but contrary to myth and legend, he does not stalk innocent victims to drain them of blood and life. Rather, he only drinks what he needs to survive. But when a vicious and very human killer begins murdering young women in Los Angeles by biting them and draining their blood, sparking fears that a vampire is prowling the city, Michael realizes that it will be up to him to unmask the fiend behind these deaths to save the good name of his vampire brethren. It says a new 2K restoration from an Interpositive, Understanding Immortality, an interview with director Vivi Dashin Su, Acting with Eggs, an interview with actress Darcy DeMoss.
Yeah, no, Darcy DeMoss, she had one of the most famous kills, though, in the Friday the 13th franchise. Remember, she was the one that, in Part 6, where she got her face smashed through the trailer.
Yeah. And reversible cover artwork. So, yeah. Pale Blood. I have not heard of that one. Thought I'd heard of most vampire movies, but I'm not familiar with that one.
I thought it was a Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah. All right, so Brian, that brings us to our last pick of the week for April.
Wanna talk tough movies? Here's a superhero with the biggest pair of all.
You looking for me?
There she was, just walking down the street singing.
Miss Elvira is a slimy, slithering succubus, a concubine, a streetwalker, a trap.
Yes, she's got it all. She's everything you've ever wanted in a movie. A woman and a casserole.
Anyway, this one, and you'll see why, there's no way this could not be our pick of the week. It's Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and it's an Arrow release, so you know it's going to be a great one. And just in case you never seen this movie, well, I don't understand how, it's Elvira, the wisecracking vamp, wants to take her act from the little screen to the glitzy stages of Las Vegas. So it seems a stroke of luck when her great-aunt Morgana dies, and despite having no prior knowledge of the relative, she is beneficiary of the woman's will. Thus, Elvira makes the journey to Falwell, Massachusetts, to stake claim to her inheritance, but is disappointed when she learns that she has only inherited a dilapidated house, a poodle, and a cookbook, and finds the conservative folk of Falwell are reticent to welcome a sexed-up and unconventional woman like her. Come on, how do you not want Elvira hanging out in your town?
Really.
Come on, she's awesome. To compound this, she is accused of being a witch. Wonder why. Elvira discovers the evil force in the town and finds that only she has the power to stop its plans. And that was a great campy, fun movie. I'm sure you've all seen that. Brand new restoration from a 4K scan of the original film elements. Original uncompressed stereo 2.0 audio. optional English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Introduction to the film by director James Signorelli. 2017 audio commentary with James Signorelli, hosted by Fangoria editor editor emeritus Tony Timpone. 2017 audio commentary with Patterson Lundquist. And then it says www.elviramisterthedark.com, webmaster and judge of U.S. TV show The Search for the Next Elvira.
Oh,
That's an interesting person to probably have a commentary on. Too Macabre, the making of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, newly revised 2018 version of this feature-length documentary on the making of the film. That when you get a feature-length documentary, that's just that's like getting, you're basically getting another movie, which is
that's
awesome.
like an automatic pick of the week for us. So, you know how the Oscars, like if you make a war movie, you're going to get Oscar nominated,
right?
For
or like back in the day, if you had Robin Williams and a beard.
Yeah, for us, it's like just include a feature-length documentary. You're automatic shoe-in for a finalist.
Yep.
Position
automatically. It says has also got interviews with various cast and crew and rare, never before seen archival material. Recipe for Terror, the creation of the Pot Monster, a newly revised 2018 version of this featurette on the concept and design of the Pot Monster, as well as the film's other SFX, which of course is special effects. Original storyboards, extensive image galleries, original U.S. theatrical and teaser trailers, reversible sleeve featuring original, newly commissioned artwork by Sarah Deck. And that's one I definitely will add to my collection. I think I had it back in the day on VHS. But definitely will need to get this on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I definitely want to get this disc. And if you guys have not seen this movie, it is on Prime and Hulu. If you just want to check it out. And I remember, Brian, do you remember the Elvira Mistress of the Dark computer game?
Vaguely. I don't know if I ever got to play it. I just remember it.
I actually owned it, and it was so hard, I never could get past like the first 2 scenes. So I don't know if I ever played more than like 10 minutes of it. I need to go check out some old YouTube videos of that game because I'd love to see like a playthrough of it, because that was
what was the premise though?
It was like an adventure game, and I just remember, I don't remember much about it, but I remember you were in her house and it was very scary, and it was tended to be more horror than, I mean, I'm sure it was a little bit campy, but it was kind of one of those point and click adventure games. But I do remember you would go into her house and there was like a spooky dining room, and I don't know. I remember vague flashes of it. It makes me want to go after we record tonight. Go look at some YouTube videos.
Maybe it's on Steam.
Yeah, or at least Good Old Games. You know about that site?
No.
There's a site called goodoldgames.com. It's GOG.com, GOG.com, and they sell old computer games, and they guarantee that they will run on modern operating systems. So how they remaster them or redo them, however, so that they will run on modern operating systems. And usually they're fairly inexpensive, because a lot of these are just from like these games from the 80s or early 90s, and you can get them for under $10.
Now, do they play through Steam, or they just play like as a separate file?
Yeah, GOG has its own launcher, sort of like Steam.
Okay.
But I think, I could be mistaken, so don't hold me to this. I think you can import non-Steam games into Steam so they show up in your library and stuff. So, check that out. I don't know if GOG has Elvira. I'm gonna go look it up right now.
I know, I'm like
a live look up as we speak, just to let you guys know. No, I don't see it. So they may not have a version, and they don't have every game, obviously, because sometimes they're just not available, or they don't run on. They can't get them to run on these systems. But yeah, go check out some YouTube videos of it. At least it's a really neat game, and one of my earliest computer games I ever bought. All right, guys. So that was April 28th, and just to wrap up, we had The Lost Continent from Shout Factory 1968, The McPherson Tape from AGFA 1989. Vinegar Syndrome released 3-disc, Deadline from 1984, Dolly Dearest from 1991, and Pale Blood from 1990. And then finally, our pick of the week, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, a fantastic Arrow Collector's Edition of that 1988 film. That is a must-own for April 28th, and that wraps things up. Yes. So we will see you back here next month for May. Who knows what May is going to look like? I have no idea. Did we get discs get pushed? We have straight from the theater digital releases coming in at us from all sides. I don't know. It's going to be
Yeah.
crazy. We're going to be under 4 more weeks of quarantine, so we're going to be stir crazy. It's going to be a really...
God help the film.
Oh my God, it's going to be a good time. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I know we've gotten some very positive feedback on these Discmemberment episodes. I'm glad you guys are I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. So and we'll keep cranking them out. So while you guys are stuck in quarantine, order yourself up some really good Blu-rays and be entertained.